Let's talk about the latest woke madness with Emma Trimble. She's a fellow at the New Culture Forum. Very good morning to you, Emma.
Good to be with you, Julia.
Thanks so much for joining. I want to talk first of all about this. I saw this yesterday and went, oh, for goodness sake. These are two scientists, Dr. Nicole Downs and Dr. Katherine Bussey. They're lecturers in early childhood at Deakin University in Australia. And they have argued that parents should get their children, their babies' permission before they change their nappy, as this is an opportunity to teach babies about consent. I mean, have these people got kids? Do they? You can't get a 3-week-old to give you consent to have their nappy changed. What on earth are they talking about?
Yeah, I'm sure charitably it's all well-meaning, but my concern here is actually that this could potentially actually be harmful because, yes, I think we can all agree it's important to teach children about consent, to make sure that they're safe from people who might prey on them, of course, to do that in an age-appropriate way. But the reality is, with a small child, they cannot consent. And so if you're teaching them that they can consent, that's a very dangerous thing.
What do you mean?
All of this in the context of the trans, well, I mean, in the sense that we've seen in the context of the trans debate that there are some people who think that children can consent, for example, to puberty blockers and things like that. Yeah. There are some people who have a very malign ideology who think children can consent to other things as well.
Well, let's spell it out. There is a whole movement of paedophiles, let's call them what they are, who think that, you know, children can consent to sex with adults.
Absolutely, and I'm sure that that is not, you know, what the people in this study are agreeing with.
But it's starting going down a road. But again, it's this idea, this idea always that children somehow should be treated as if almost they're adults, as opposed to, but need protection, as opposed to they are the child of the parent, and the parent is going to, you know, I mean, of course you want to make nappy changing a fun experience. It doesn't have to be kids screaming. You just, you know, play a game, you could do something. But I mean, certainly any parent I know has talked to their child about, you know, it's very important, you know, that's, you know, that those are your private parts, and you know, no one can touch you where if you know, without your permission, you know, and you know, the doctor has to ask permission for an examination and things like that, and mum's in the room. I mean, there's a difference between that, isn't there? And talking about babies, I mean, nappies by definition should only be on children who are in no position to understand any concept such as this.
Absolutely, and I really think, I mean, it's obviously silly, but I really think, you know, like one of the things mentioned in the study was that you shouldn't distract your child when you're changing their nappy by giving them a rattle or something, or you know, something to entertain them, and instead you should try to give them a sense of agency to ask
these people are insane.
And it is insane, and I think actually what it is a confusion of the role of the proper relationship between a parent and child. It should be about trust. You shouldn't be teaching a small child or inadvertently teaching a small child that if they give their consent, then an adult can touch them. That is the wrong message to send.
Yeah, it's weird. They've got it completely the wrong way. But again, I'd love to meet these people's kids. I'm telling you right now, they have tantrums in supermarkets and they walk on the table. I'm telling you that right now. I've met these people. I know these kinds of people, and their kids are all absolutely ghastly. I'm a 1950s mum, and I like my kid. Let's also talk about Graham Linehan. He's back in the news in yet another round. And we know, look, he lost his marriage, he lost his entire career as a top comedy writer. He lost an awful lot of, well, inverted commas, friends in the industry, as did J.K. Rowling, by speaking out on the trans right. I'm still intensely grateful to him as a woman that he did actually put his career on the line and didn't just go, oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said that like everyone else did. But he's now fallen out with a former Father Ted star. This is Ardal O'Hanlon, of course, starred as Father Dougal in the sitcom of Father Ted. And he's basically the latest ex-colleague, he says, according to Emlyn, the latest ex-colleague to smear me in the press. And he said O'Hanlon is baffled by his, what Linehan called his confrontational style. Now, there's no doubt at all, Graham Linehan is confrontational, more confrontational than a lot of, for instance, the women on social media over this issue. But I kind of like his confrontational style. I think we needed a bit of that.
Yeah, thank God that he is confrontational. Graham Linehan is a hero. He's done so much for women's rights and for protecting same-sex spaces. I honestly can't believe that no paper has run the headline, "I hear you're a sexist now, Father." This guy is so late to the game as well in trying to throw Graham Linehan under the bus.
Too late.
when you know, we've already seen that the case against him was thrown out, that he has become, yes, he's on the other side of cancellation. Yes, a lot of people, his friends, his family, whatever, have denounced him. But he's come out on the other side as a legend. So, you know, I think actually it's a positive sign that I think many people will look on this actor coming out and denouncing him in this way.
Well, he didn't denounce him. I mean, he's in an interview with the Sunday Times, and Hanlon has said, "I still got on great with everyone, though I haven't seen much of the show's creator, Graham Linehan. I'm baffled as to why he got involved in the culture wars. I feel sorry for him. He's entitled to his opinions, but the way he presented them made it confrontational." That's not really smearing him. That's, you know, that's a reasonable opinion for him to hold. But it's fascinating. He's baffled as to why he got involved in the, you know, culture wars. You know, I mean, it's like, well, why did he get involved in protecting women from having men walking into their toilets and their changing rooms? Well, because it was the right thing to do, Ardle.
Yeah, someone lives in a bubble, clearly. If he can't understand, I think that's exactly the point. If anything, that makes the case that actually Graham was right to be so confrontational, because it needs to be hammered into the heads of people like him.
Yeah, absolutely. Emma Trimble, thank you very much for the New Culture Forum.